Hey everyone, it's Professor Fiction, and we're doing something a bit different. I did something similar to this when I ranked the S class a long time ago. Um, and we're going to be doing another short tier list, but we're only going to be doing demon level monsters from One Punch Man. This tier list technically does have like every character, but I'm not trying to do that because then why would I even bother making videos? So I thought, hey, I was actually thinking about making a video explaining who I think the strongest demon level monsters are. So let's just do this, right? Honestly, I think we might have too many tiers. Let's get rid of S tier. I don't think we need this many tiers. So I thought I'd just do a tier list for this. This is also kind of off the dome and not super thought out. So don't take it super duper seriously. So I don't really know where to start, really. Let's start with these guys real quick. House of Evolution. These guys suck. These guys don't really do anything aside from beat up and kind of like fight. But they don't even beat them up. They lose. They mostly lose to like introduction Genos. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, transformed mosquito girl is a little bit different. So we know from the VGS she's definitely weaker than hydrated deep seeking. But the thing is it's sort of implied that Genos gets upgraded after he fights her normal state. Because in the fight against her normal form, Genos gets his arm ripped off. But against Armored Gorilla, he's virtually unharmed. And the thing is, not only is it like outright stated that Armored Gorilla is stronger than she is, at least in her base form, but Dr. Genus is downright baffled that like his extermination squad is taken out. But when he hears that transformed mosquito girl got taken out, he's like hardly phased, and he's more shocked that these guys were killed. So she's a weird one. She might be down here. I might come back to. Oh, for now, I'm gonna put her below Armored Gorilla and just like say Genos probably got a huge power increase. But that's not for certain. I might move her up. Also down here, we'll put base deep seeking. Uh, is there anyone on here that I think would lose to base deep seeking? No, there isn't. Base deep seeking, he beats up. He can swap hands with one armed Genos, but this armed Genos is obviously like many times more upgraded than these guys. So I'll just put him at the bottom of F tier. Now that makes transformed deep seeking a pretty good baseline for D tier because he's a lot stronger than his base form, sure. But as we'll go over, other than that, he kind of sucks. So immediately after, sometime after uh, Puri fights Deep Seeking, Puri per prisoner fights another monster that's stated to be just as powerful as Deep Seeking. And then he gets, like, it punches him in the face and he barely flinches. But he can still have, like, huge gnashes put in his body by Free Hugger. So Free Hugger should be up there. Bakuma just does better against Puri than like any other monster does. So he should be there. Oh, Sky King should be right here in D tier, right behind Puri. They're basically equals, as stated by one directly. But Puri does have like regeneration, so he might have a slight edge. And I think it's sort of implied that Sky King feared Deep Sea King because he waited for Deep Sea King and Subterranean King to die before he like tried to attack humanity. Subterranean King isn't on here unfortunately, but he would be like right here too. I This is headcanon, but I'd probably put him higher than Deep Sea King just because like he was the first to try and take over the world, and it seemed like these two are waiting for like each other to die. But like, no matter how you look at it, he'd be like with these three. That's just like a little bit of my headcanon. Next up in this tier, we'll put G4. His core doesn't change that much. So the thing with G4 is he obviously fights Genos, and people, I don't know where this comes from. I hear that this is apparently like this is allegedly stated to be with G4, but Genos fights a simulated Deep Sea King and basically like destroys him. And this is supposed to be after season 1 of the anime, based off of statements from One regarding the OVAs, not the OVAs, the audiobooks are extensions of the anime, and they came out between season 1 and season 2. So they're heavily implied to be between that gap. I've heard people say, it's allegedly stated, that the audiobooks take place with G4 Genos and not in between season 1 and season 2, but I have never seen where that's like officially stated anywhere. So we'll say that it is between season 1 and season 2, in which G4, even in his shell form, is stated to be stronger than a Genos that destroys Deep Sea King pretty easily. And then obviously his core is even stronger. So yeah, he'd pretty concretely be like the top of D tier. Then with C tier, you basically have people who like are around G4 Genos then. Because so the thing is, Genos like high diffed G4, but the thing is he mainly won with strategy. So G4 himself is probably is stronger than Genos, just less intelligent. So when Genos becomes G4 Genos, it's likely at like roughly a 2 times increase. So if you can scale to that Genos, then you're probably above D tier. So then we'd have Face Ripper. He pretty like he holds his own with Genos pretty well and can even block his incineration cannons with his swords and like cuts up his arm, like he can rip up his arms and stuff. So Genos again mainly had to outsmart Face Ripper in order to kill him, so he's very powerful. Then we'd have Awakened Cockroach as well. It's implied, it's not even implied, it's downright shown that he does way better against Genos than Face Ripper. And again, Genos needs to resort to like extra strategy rather than just like outright beating the shit out of him. Then we'd go to... Now this is where it starts to get more difficult. We can at least put Senior Centipede here. Because Senior Centipede, it's outright stated by Murata. If you don't take Murata's words with like 100% certainty or anything, then by all means he can be lower. But Senior Centipede is stated to be so durable that Genos would be incapable of harming him without his upgraded attacks. So that's probably referring to his to Genos when he fought EC, Elder Centipede. Because obviously G4 Genos was a thing when Senior Centipede was around. So Murata's likely referring to, at the time, Genos could not harm Sage Centipede, but when he gets upgraded later, he'd be stronger. Awakened Cockroach and Face Ripper both thought... Well, Awakened Cockroach thought he'd be killed by Genos Blast, and Face Ripper obviously, like, was going to die. He did die when Genos hit him. So Senior Centipede should be above them. Even if you don't really take that, he should still be above D tier, because the Genos that fought G4 also fought a simulated Carnage Kabuto and got destroyed by him. And Metal Bat in base can do a lot better than that. And Senior Centipede can kind of give base Metal Bat the hands. So he should still be somewhere around here. That brings us to Hellfire and Gale. These two could be a lot higher, but I don't want to say that with certainty, because so they obviously scale to Sonic, and Sonic can he's sort of compared to Awakened Cockroach, but he's also like able to hold his own with G4 Genos, and it's sort of implied by one that it's not even implied. It's stated outright to be like a toss up who would win between them. So they should be above people who lose to G4 Genos or like comparable to G4 Genos. Senior Centipede is actually probably above them because if Sonic versus G4 Genos is a toss up, Senior Centipede is outright just like above that Genos. So around there seems good. Now with the rest of these characters, it kind of gets weird. I think we might start with A tier and work our way down just to make things a bit easier. Royal Ripper and Bug God are kind of like no, I don't want to start. I don't want to do that. But who would go in B tier? So with B tier and A tier, it's gonna get a lot weirder. So we'll just start with hmm, 100 Eyes Octopus, I guess. So it's sort of implied that he's an upper echelon in the Monster Association by Giro Giro. Since she just says he's a strong demon, I'm surprised he was defeated so easily. So he should at least be like above the rabble, whatnot. Um, Rhino Rest. Let's just go down the list, I guess. So Giant Crow, he's pretty like unknown. We don't know. All we know is he would lose to Purry Purry Prisoner. Um, who at this point is like up here-ish, maybe higher if anything, up here-ish in C tier. But we don't know like what his like he's actually capable of outside of like ripping open a wall of a skyscraper. So we'll just leave him in unknown. Same with Pureblood. Now, Pureblood, if you really jerked him off, could be like high C tier. If you think that Zombie Man really killed Carnage Kabuto with like raw physical strength, after he's exhausted, that is. So like if you think Zombie Man came up and has the strength to chop exhausted Carnage Kabuto's head off, but base Carnage Kabuto can also beat up Metal Bat, he'd probably be high C tier with Senior Centipede. But I don't really think that's the case. And as we saw, Zombie Man's like guns and stuff can pretty easily like rip holes in Pureblood. So let alone his super giant explosion gun that he used against Homeless Emperor that he calls a last resort. So I don't think he's really up there, so we'll just call him an unknown. Now Doe S, she's implied to be at the very least more valuable than Awakened Cockroach. She's sort of entrusted with keeping tabs on Rover a little bit. There's a lot saying that she's like a higher tier in the Monster Association rank wise. And we also know that she at one point was sort of able to hold back Royal Ripper, which is actually a pretty crazy feat. I'll get to that in a second. She's pretty blatantly superior to Fubuki. Mainly it's that Royal Ripper thing, which I'll get to. Royal Ripper's A tier. So the thing with Royal Ripper is that he and Bug God are entrusted with taking down Garo if he goes rogue, and for the most part are technically successful. I'll say Bug God's a little higher because he's really durable. Both scale to him pretty well, especially Royal Ripper, because as we see later, Garo comes back stronger than ever, And even though Royal Ripper is off guard and has his back turned, he's fast enough to intercept Garo and stab a hole through his abdomen. And Garo at this point, the fact that they're even entrusted with this by Giro, who knows all of the monsters in the Monster Association, knows all the monsters in the Monster Association, and has the ability to measure them. The fact that she even trusts them with the knowledge that Garo has defeated Metalbat is really good. Maybe, you know what, maybe the problem is that I have too many tiers. No, this is fine. The fact that she even trusts them is a really good feat. We'll say Bug God's a little higher because she thinks that he could stop Royal Ripper if Royal Ripper goes crazy. So you can have that. But Garo at this point, even heavily weakened, could give the hands to upgraded Genos. They're more or less even, with Genos like mainly having an advantage due to his like versatility. But yeah, the fact that he can stab holes in Garo and stuff, who like took blows from Tank Top Master, is pretty good. G5, we know for a fact that his core mode is above G4 core. And then he is vaguely it is in his normal state. He's vaguely relative to Child Emperor, in which Child Emperor thinks it would be extremely difficult to defeat him. And we know that Child Emperor sort of saw like original state evil natural water and kind of saw him as a joke at first. And original state evil natural water should be somewhat relative, if not above, Hero Hunter Garo. And while these two are also relative to Hero Hunter Garo, it's a bit more concrete with Evil Natural Water. So if you say that G5 is a vague portion of Evil Natural Water's power, this is still above any of these monsters down here. He's really questionable, personally, because of how weird Child Emperor is, but we'll just say he's B tier anyway. Now Showerhead isn't all that strong. His attacks can like make Garo feel pain. But other than that, he's mainly pretty durable because he and these guys can all take a hit from Garo and are pretty much like unharmed. Not unharmed per se, but like Royal Ripper gets one shot by Half Monster Garo, and these guys can all take hits from him. So yeah, C tier's fine. Hmm. Then we get to Rhino Wrestler and Devil Longhair, and these two are basically the same because they both just fight the disciples. Though Devil Longhair is probably higher because he fights all three. And the thing about the disciples is that they're all sort of relative to each other, and Ian is relative to Spring Mustachio. And Spring Mustachio is obviously like a vague threat to Hero, not really a threat, but a challenge to Hero Hunter Garo early on. So Rhino Wrestler and Devil Longhair would also be able to somewhat contest with Hero Hunter Garo. Though not to the same efficiency that these characters can. Or these guys, probably, because Garo was much stronger when he faced that. In fact, I'd probably put Showerhead up here, not down in C tier, because these guys didn't do much. It was mainly Showerhead that was able to react to Garo and hurt him. These guys kind of... Super Mouse just regenerated from a Whirlwind attack, which we don't even know how strong it is. And Unihorn did fucking nothing. He got kicked, and that was it. So, um, Rhino Wrestler taking slashes from Ion is probably here-ish. Now, this might seem weird saying that someone who's around Ion level is above Hellfire and Gale, but Sonic. Actually, no. Sonic might have been able to damage Genos over time, so that's not quite the same. He'd probably be like bottom C tier, at least. Because if Yian is like a challenge to Garo, even at all, probably much higher than these guys, who kind of lose to the supposed weakest S class. Ion can also like cut holes in Melzigard, who's obviously above Sky King and Deep Sea King. Devil Long Hair would then just go there too. No, I don't like this. So yeah, then Giant Crow and Pureblood, like I said, are pretty much unknown. Um, I'm gonna get some shit probably for saying Royal Ripper and Bug God are like top tier demons, but the fact that Giro trusts them with dealing with Garo when she thinks Garo is like potentially like executive level, it's pretty crazy. These guys all more or less definitively above these guys. If you think Child Emperor and Garo are relative, based off of Child Emperor like reacting to evil natural water, and G5 is a threat to him, then these guys are pretty fodder. Obviously, some of these are kind of matchup dependent, but for the most part, this is probably where they scale. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like I said, this is literally off the dome, so if I put more thought into it, I might change these up a lot. But as a general rule, this is probably what I think. These two are definitely top tiers. These guys, these four, and sort of Showerhead are also implied to be like high ranking in the month, like part of their like top tier demon squad or whatever. Um, these guys more or less scale to upgraded Genos. These two are a little questionable. They might be down in D tier, but I think being able to fight Ion is a bit more impressive than Season 2 Genos. If Ion is even like somewhat of a challenge to Garo. So yeah, these guys all somewhat around Season 2 Genos level. And then F tier, just bottom of the barrel garbage. So yeah, there you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want, I'll be putting this tier list in the description, so feel free to make your own tier list, whether you just do like demon level monsters or you want to do the entire cast. Like I said, I'm not doing that because then nobody would need to watch my videos anymore. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.